week's Parsha is Tazria Metzora. So of course, always somebody asked, how do you get your props, your ideas? I just walked through my house, so I saw this and I said, oh my gosh, this must be what a Tazria Metzora looks like, these little white spots that suddenly appear. But when I realized that I could eat them,
What's the mushrooms?
I knew it wasn't the real thing. It's really up to the Kohen to decide if it's what the English call leprosy, but it's a certain nega, these little white spots that appear, and there are a lot of different things that it looks like if there's a hair. If it's not, which part of the body it's covered with. And just to give you an example, one day someone wakes up and they look like this. And the next morning they pretty much look the same way, and then it starts getting worse and worse. And finally they have to figure out if it's Metzora, if they are one. Do they look in the mirror? Do they make their own determination? No. They go to the Kohen. Because people look at themselves and they don't always see the negative thing. They don't always see that they might have heard something misjudged or said something negative. So the Kohen has to be an objective observer. And with one word, he can change their lives. What does he do in case it is tzaras? He can take them outside and they go out and they have to wait a certain 7-day period, 8-day periods. There are a lot of different laws concerning the Metzora. But basically, it's the concept of isolation, of being alone. Why? They say that a baby, they did these experiments in Nazi Germany, where they took a baby and they didn't touch the baby. They did everything else. They fed it, they clothed it, they kept it warm, but they didn't let it have human contact. And the same they said, sometimes in a prison they put someone in solitary confinement. What is it? We need the human interaction. And so what they're doing is, it's a midah keneged midah. This person spoke lashon hara. He spoke slander. When you speak slander about someone, first their face turns red, then it turns white. So perhaps it's significant that their skin is starting to turn white. But what it is you're really isolating them. You're making them feel alone, depressed, cut off. So it's really like an antisocial type of disease. So what it is he has to be separated and understand the harm he caused. And lashon hara is so terrible that obviously the Chafetz Chaim wrote a whole book about it and had a campaign. He said he was once in a businessman's office and he noticed a telegram there. And the man was very busy with each word. He said, what are you doing? He says, every word cost money in those days. And he says, as careful as you are with those words, that's how careful you should be with the words that come out of your mouth. And very often we hear the expression, be as careful of what comes out of your mouth as we are as what goes in. And post-Pesach, I can definitely say that we better be more careful about what goes in, because I was very involved in the simcha of Pesach through the eating and drinking of it. Anyway, when he is tamei, he has to walk around screaming tamei, tamei. He has to let people know. It's almost like a neon sign, warning, warning, danger. This is what happens when you indulge in lashon hara. So the Kohen himself is the one who has to declare it, and he says that you have gone and you have to be isolated, and after a certain period of time, there's sacrifices involved, and one of them is the cedar, because what is really happening? It comes from gava, it comes from this sense of arrogance. I'm greater. We either have to build ourselves up or put someone else down, and that's what often happens. So when you feel as big as a tree and better than everybody else, sometimes in an unjustified way, you have to be brought down and have this humility. That's why the hyssop is part of it, which is lonely. But we experienced very interesting around here, Hurricane Sandy. What was it? Because not only can a person have negas, have all these afflictions, but their clothes and their house could have it. But they said that when the house had it, you started to look and you had to take down the walls and the bricks, and underneath very often they found the treasures of the Amorites that were there before. So it said, why did Hashem have to do it this way? Couldn't they just leave treasures? You open up a closet, it's right there. It's on the kitchen table when you came. Why did it have to be underneath? Because very often we have to look at other people and see the good in them. Sometimes we have to dig a little deeper. Sometimes when negative things happen to us in our life, when it's bad, we have to realize Gam Zula Tova. There's a good purpose and everything good will come out. So you're saying in Hurricane Sandy, where people literally had mold and they had to take it off, so where was the treasure underneath? Because in the end, the Gemilas Chesed that people did for each other, the way we came out for each other, the way people stood up, the way people took in their neighbors, that was a treasure that's worth more than anything else. And that is why I am lucky enough to be privileged to still have my brother-in-law and sister-in-law and their kids living in my house. So I'm having a treasure. May you all have treasures. May you all see the good in each other. May you measure your words and know that any time there's the opportunity to build somebody up, and you're building yourself up at the same time.